present an overview of the representation of Muslims in European painting from the Renaissance into the 20th century, with the purpose of illustrating, I hope, the kind of assumptions projected by pictures that would generate, ultimately, sort of in the back of people's minds, if not in the forefront, a sense of, well, negative attitude towards Muslims. That underneath this is a kind of underpinning of the bigotry that, let's say, has been mentioned in a number of people's assumptions about Muslims as, you know, in part, in some sort of background way, if not in the forefront, a sense of what Muslims are about, and why they're different from Europeans, and why they're bad. The two works on the screen are very definite. Defamations, attacks on Muslims. The first one by a major Venetian painter of the 16th century, Paolo Veronese, depicting a major battle of 1571, the Battle of Lepanto, which essentially, for Europeans, stopped the incursion of the Ottoman Empire, of Turks, of Muslims into Europe. So it was Europe is preserved. That's what the Battle of Lepanto as Christian region. And you have this interesting kind of aerial view of the naval battle below, and then up in the heavens he tells you what it's really about. Good going, guys. Here you see the Madonna, saints, blessing the event. We approve. You have saved Europe from these heathens. And a fine vision of victory over a negative, these enemies, Muslims as enemies, here in a different sort of way, depicting defeat as a means of also pointing out the negative aspect of Muslim. Here is a persona in a painting by Eugène Delacroix, a major painter of the period in 19th century France, a painting that incidentally was used as an exhibition to raise funds to help Greek insurgents against their Ottoman overlords. It's a personification of Greece, a helpless woman, ragged bodice, depicts a specific event just as the Veronese does, namely the defeat of the Greek rebels at Missolonghi. In this painting of 1826, and here you see various bodies, and there was an explosion, and there in the background is the enemy, the Turk, who, with his turban, with a spear or lance, standing as in a posture of the conqueror here. Although one's a defeat, one's a victory, both of them essentially attack the Muslim as this enemy. Let me see if I can move forward without disaster. Well, I guess not. What? How do I do it?
The arrows.
Want to go to the next one?
Use
Yep.
the arrows. No, just use the arrows.
I tried using the arrow. Which arrow do
I don't think they are working.
I just have to go there.
Yes, I know, but
Doesn't
you should
work.
choose.
This one work?
If you want.
Okay. Why don't you sit here? Here, the earliest picture I'm going to show you is a painting by Jacopo Bellini, Gentile Bellini, excuse me, who had gone to Turkey as part of a Venetian embassy to make nice with the Turks, to come up with a treaty. The Venetians, their commercial interests were really rudely affected by the Ottoman takeover through the actions of Mehmed II, Sultan, that took over the Byzantine Empire, essentially. Gave the Turks, Ottomans, control of the Eastern Mediterranean, and Venice's great commercial interests were in danger. So later on, sometime, Venetians trying to make a treaty to enhance their commercial activities in the Eastern Mediterranean, to retain them, sent an embassy, and among Bellini's commissions was to paint a portrait of the Sultan, Mehmed II, this guy in the 1450s who took over the Byzantine Empire, essentially smashed whatever remained of it, and set it up as the Ottoman Empire. He's shown, well, this is the kind of picture I want to deal with rather than the victory and defeats that you were just looking at. These are pictures that you'll be looking at that are either seem unbiased or seem favorable to Muslims. But if you look at them long enough, carefully enough, you realize that underneath there's a great deal of negativity. Here you have Mehmed II. There are many figures of doges, for example, in Venetian art, with a great cloth, beautiful cloth hung over a parapet. And here you see this kind of arch in Bellini's paintings and many other Venetian artists of the 15th century. Here a picture of Madonna and Child. This kind of architectural enfrainment is given to, well, gods, to deities, it gives enormous importance, this kind of enfrainment. And here you have a second saying, wow, this is a wonderfully respectful, favorable image of Mehmed II. But, incidentally, this is a picture that's probably, may not be the original. They don't know whether it's a copy of Bellini's picture or Bellini's picture that's been heavily repainted, reworked over the centuries. This work in the National Gallery, but gives you some idea of what his picture looked like, I think. He, of course, is wearing a turban, which